Hello chat, today we're doing another part of the parkour video series. So like the previous parts, we're just going to be showing a bunch of different parkour type of jump setups on different maps, but today instead of being annotated, we're actually having some commentary, some words being said, so I hope you're ready for that. We're going to start off with some maps that we were doing previously but that we forgot stuff on, and then we're going to move on to some new maps, which there are very few of just because of how much stuff there is to show for each map. And just like previously, if there was something I forgot, I will revisit. Don't worry about that. We're going to start off with Swiftwater, where we have this basic jump, but I want to show a little variation of it where you should jump into the windows. The windows are very small, but you do fit into it. It's pretty tight. Here on the third, you can jump on a little wooden ledge and then get onto the metal sheet. It's a different way to do that. Here is a B-hop on Odyssey third. You actually can just wiggle this or use the power jack or the speed boost from the dead ringer, but I think the B-hop is the coolest way. Here on Frontier last, there's a little quirk with the respawn zone. This is the thing you can use to loadout swap, so you can loadout swap very far away from your spawn room. Showing some different examples of that. Here, there's also the shutter on the flank on second, and it's kind of broken. If you are opening it while the cap is happening, then the shutter closes permanently. It has to do with how the shutter is programmed. It kind of sucks, but it's fun to troll with. So anyway, here's a new set of jumps on Fortezza. You could do this previously, but with a speed boost. Now a little wooden ledge was added and a set of barrels. I take full credit for this because I talked to the mapper. I showed him some of the jumps and he really liked them and would make them easier, which he did. So also added these physics barrels. You can break them, so be very careful because they enable that jump. There's a couple more of them scattered around the map, and most of them don't really do much. They do actually enable some rotates here and there, so they're temporary. And this is just some useless parkour outside of spawn. I thought I would show it. This is cachoeira, or I don't know however you pronounce that. There's some little jumps here. On the helipad, you can jump around these boxes. The clip brush is a little bit weird, so you have to be careful you don't slide into the water. You can also use the clip brush to get on top of the boxes, and then you can stand next to the helicopter, which seems useless, but might be good for, say, a sniper spot. Now we're moving on to Patagonia, which has a shit ton of stuff to show, like an actual boatload of things to go over. So just starting off with some basic parkour that looks like it requires the cart, but you can also just do this little jump and it doesn't require the cart. Here you have your rocks to the side, which actually have a lot of little jump options associated with them. You can jump over them, you can jump behind them, you can jump around them, you can jump from rock to rock. Like there's a ton to do with these rocks. You can hide, like use them to hide or kite or whatever. Like it's really fun. Offers a ton of variety if you're playing spy here. Then these other rocks, like basically all of the rocks on first are very jump friendly, and it means that as a spy you're having a great time just parkouring around. I would really recommend running around with the cloak and dagger here. It seems to be particularly effective. So yeah, you can get on top of the roofs as well. I'm just showing that you can do it from both sides. Like there's essentially little stepping stone rocks that really help you navigate around. There's just a little variety, getting on the same rock, but then jumping to the other rock, and then showing that you can also get on top of this wooden fence, and then onto the little roof bit, and then with a speed boost, you can get onto the other fence. So there's a whole ass chain of jumps there with the right circumstances. It's going to be pretty helpful. There's a power jack jump. You can do this with a B-hop or a strafe, but it's really tight, so I just prefer doing it with a power jump. A power jack, obviously a dead ringer speed boost works too. Here's a little shortcut jump in case someone is standing inside of the doorway. This goes both ways. I forgot to show the way back. That's why you get the jump cut. And then here's a chain of jumps, which is very useful. This is like, again, if people are in the house, you can get behind them this way. This jump is completely excessive and pointless, and I'm showing it because it's fun and hard to do. Here we have a way to get on top of this rock. This requires a little bit of tricky slide jumping, but ultimately it's not great, but it is something you can do. Here I'm just showing that you can jump around outside. As you can see, the order of the clips is a little bit fucked up because I was just kind of running around doing jumps as I pleased and kind of figuring it out on my own. It was really fun to do, but the order, because of it, is the order is a little bit scuffed. Anyway, just showing some different options that you have when you're jumping around on this map. Here again, swapping to a different knife because I'm recording this on a completely different day, and then we're going back to the start. This jump is actually very useful, but it's also kind of like precise, so I recommend trying that, maybe practicing it, because it is very helpful getting to like the engine nest or whatever. And it's a temporary jump because the elevator goes down. Anyway, I'm showing some other jumps as well. They're all fairly basic. Here we're getting the next jump. This one is very precise, and then it's followed by another really precise jump. But if you make both of these jumps, then bam, you're up here, and this is like a power position for spy. It's really good. The chances are this whole thing is getting patched out in a future update. because the mapper didn't seem to like me doing jumps that he didn't intend. The same with this one, because this allows the heavy to get up here, and he didn't like that, so he's going to change this allegedly. There's also this little ledge here, and the next step I show a way to, like, you can, with pyro or faster, you can actually jump up there, do like a slide jump up to displacement, and it's very powerful. Okay, so here we have a displacement jump. This is very precise, but it's also really consistent once you get it. Here's a set of little strafe jumps to help you get around a little bit. These are very helpful. I would not sleep on these. Here's a little speed boost jump to get from one place to the other, but you don't need the speed jump boost. You can do it like that as well, and even the demo can do that one. So anyway, here's a way to get on top of the, like, rock formation. You just displacement jump again. It's really precise, but I recommend practicing it, because as you can see here, there's a lot of other jumps that stem from this. Like, there's a whole ass chain of parkour you can do. So definitely try and practice the displacement jump. It's very useful. Just so many little options here, again, showing that we're on top of the rock, and then with the speed boost, you can jump on top of the fence and then onto the train. It's very helpful here with the speed boost. You can strafe jump around the rock, but you actually don't need a speed boost for this. You can just do it normally, as I'm showing here, but this is very precise. You will die trying this, so I do not recommend it. I recommend using the speed boost. Anyway, just showing some little shortcut jumps here. These are pretty helpful. They're pretty, like, I mean, if there's like a nest or something, then it's a helpful shortcut to be able to take for, like, cloak movement and stuff. So I do recommend trying it. This one is actually harder than it looks. This one, I don't really know why I included this. This seems really basic, but I guess it's for the sake of being thorough. There's a lot of these that, I mean, like this might be really basic to you, or I may have just blown your mind. It really depends. The same with this. For me, this is really basic, but for you, that might blow your mind because you just never really thought to do that. I really like stuff like that. It's very subtle. It's pretty basic, pretty easy to find, but you might not notice it on your first go through, or you might not notice it while playing, but then when you're offline, you might see it. This set of jumps you can do as heavy. It's getting patched out though, because the mapper was not a fan of me putting heavy up here. Anyway, there's a displacement jump you can do here. It's pretty precise. That's pretty helpful though. Anyway, now we're on cashworks. There's a couple of cool little jumps you can do here to do with, like, the fact that this isn't clicked off, for instance. I really like that kind of parkour. I think the fact that, like, if that was clicked off, it would just make the map worse. Like, there's literally no gains from that being clicked off. So anyway, here we just have some basic strafe jumps around this area. Nothing too exciting, so I'm not really mentioning it here. There's just like a random clip brush. Not too useful, but I thought I would show it because it's funny. Here's a little shortcut to get onto the high ground using the rocks. It's not really too special, but at the same time, this can be really useful if you're playing Spy and somebody's chasing you and you need to, like, disappear in a puff of smoke. There's a little spot you can crouch to get into, not very useful though. Again, like, just showing random ledges that you can stand on that you might not have thought, oh, you can go there. I'm just showing, like, hey, you can actually do this. There's just some rock jumps to get around. Helps you helps you circumnavigate the choke points, which can help a lot. That's why, because, well, moving through choke as Spy is kind of a pain. Anyway, some other strafe jumps and little prop jumps that you can do to get around. It's not really too exciting, but most of these are, they can be helpful in the right circumstances. So do with that what you will. Here's another set of rock jumps. This is actually pretty helpful. This is a pretty good spot to decloak. Nobody really looks up here. This is a little parkour jump you can do. It's not too useful, but I thought I would show it anyway. Here's some little strafes, and, like, I mean, this is a good hiding spot, even if you have, like, a dead ringer, so you're not constantly invisible. Then you could decloak from. Here I'm just showing that yes, these are in fact ledges you can stand on. This can help you get around a little bit. Anyway, here we're showing the V-Collide wireframe, just to show you how what I'm sliding on and stuff like that. You can sort of, like, slide jump up here and then up onto the second rock and then do a big strafe jump, and now you're, like, invading. It's a really cool and useful set of jumps. Here we're just showing little shortcut strafes that you can do to get around the map in a little different way. Here there's essentially like a little staircase by the rocks, and then you can use it to get onto this big ledge. And you can do another set of strafe jumps, prop a dead ringer to do another strafe jump. And then you can strafe jump all the way over here, and this is a really cool spot to be as a Spy. Nobody's going to check up there. Anyway, here's just another little chain of parkour jumps like these. Most of these are pretty basic, but a lot of it is also showing, like, hey, you can get around like this. It's pretty useful routing. A couple of little hiding spots, little ways to maybe take people by surprise. Get around the chokes in different unusual ways. I think more maps should use routes like this, like just subtle little routes that you would only ever use as an invisible Spy, because they're way too obvious if you're a fat heavy, but they're really good if you're an invisible Spy because it's a route nobody would take and you can use it to get in. And it's honestly like elegant mapping. Anyway, this is the coolest jump of the whole mercenary park. Very useful. I recommend you do it as like pyro or something. It's very good to get onto the high ground. Here we're showing off that you can get onto the fences, and this gives you a very nice decloak spot in the corner. Moving on, then you can also do it on the other side, jump from the one fence to the other. Not too useful, but I thought I would show it anyway. It's kind of cool. There's a couple little jumps here. You can like crouch jump onto the thing, and then here you can even go behind it. There's a little ledge, so I don't know, it's not too helpful, but it's a great hiding spot. I don't know, have you ever checked there? Like, I sure haven't. And showing that you can do it on this side as well. I mean, it's all kind of samey, but because it's like similar geo. Pretty fun though. Here's a couple of spots by the alligator pit. You don't really, I don't know, there isn't really a use for this other than maybe cloak and daggering around, but I thought I would show it anyway. Here's some jumps you can do. This is a little bit of a long jump. Pretty fun to do though. Floor is lava kind of thing. Here we're just showing the concrete blocks that you can jump on. Again, this is just like, oh, I can now, you're essentially dodging the traffic area, you know, like the place where people will walk. You're dodging it so that you're essentially more in the hidden. This is completely useless, but I thought I would show it because it's like hard to do strafe jumps with a like a tight spot that you end up in. Like it's barely large enough to be able to stand there. Anyway, just some little like cheese ledge spots. Like these are pretty helpful to catch people off guard if they're trying to go through the container one way or another. Here around second, there's actually a surprising amount of parkour. I'll show some other options later on, especially on Scout. It's pretty good. Here's a little slide. It's pretty fun to do. This isn't clicked off, which most people might expect it to be, but again, the fact that it's not clicked off means you have some extra movement options, which is kind of nice. Here just showing like straight jump through as a little shortcut, and then you can also get onto the glass barrier, which you might not have known about. Here there's some prop jumps. Watch out for the lamps though, they're solid, they're kind of annoying to deal with. Other than that though, yeah, just a little couple of prop jumps helps you get around, or maybe have like little ledges to hide on with the cloaks or whatever. That's pretty nice. I don't know if it'll really work here. I'm just showing that this little like weird vent prop is actually something you can stand in. It'll become relevant later. Here's a crazy hiding spot for like pyro or something. That's pretty helpful. And then showing that you can also get on top of the boxes here if you just do a couple of little jumps. It's pretty nice. Here you can stand on the outside of the window fence or window bits. It's really weird and hard to do jumps, but it's pretty cool, I guess. It's kind of useless, but I thought I would show it because it's pretty fun. Here again, just jumping on the outside of these window frames. These are tight jumps, but they are fun to do. I doubt you would ever use that in a room match, though. It's mostly just showing that you can do it, and if you're really clever with your timing on it, then these can actually be very helpful jumps. All these jumps are pretty basic here around last and stuff, but it's just for the sake of being thorough. I just want to show all the little options you have because I don't know, like this isn't, I wouldn't call this a great spy map, but once you realize like you have all these options, then it does actually add a fair bit of depth to the map. You're just showing that normally crouch jumping won't make it, but if you slide up, then you get more height, which is very helpful, and then you can also just get on top of the fence. So, just little jumps you can do can help you get around a lot. So now we're on the Scout class, and we're just going to show off that you can get on top of the little monkey tree, and then onto the palm tree. I don't know why I called it a monkey tree. It's more of like a, I don't know, a thing like gorillas would play within a gorilla exhibit, I guess. But whatever, anyway, here's a little cool set of double jumps you can do to get onto the high ground. Little shortcut with the winger. I don't really know why I show these. Like, this isn't really what I like to show, but whatever. Anyway, here's a little cool hiding spot that you can very easily get in a Scout or Pyro. And then here another very, very abusable ledge. It requires a double jump though, or a dead jump, I guess. Just showing some other things like, oh, this isn't clipped off, or oh, you can stand up here. I don't think these are particularly useful, but hey, like, be my guest and try to abuse them in pubs because people might not be looking up, and it's pretty funny. There's just an alternative way to get to the high ground. And not that you'd ever use this because there's always a bunch of sentries around, but hey, I thought I would show it anyway. Just little things, little spots to stand on, little fences and vents and whatever. Like, it's just fun, add some variety to your gameplay. Here again, showing that you can stand on the outside of the window, which, I mean, a lot of people would be like, oh, it should be clipped off, but it's not. And because it's not clipped off, it actually adds more gameplay options, which, surprise, surprise, is an upside. It turns out when you clip off everything aggressively, it just makes the map worse because it's just a generic hallway now. Anyway, so here we have a couple of double jumps to show that you can very easily get to the roof as Scout, even showing this like crazy set of jumps that you can do on the palm trees. This isn't really very practical. I just wanted to show this because I thought it was fucking hilarious that you can do this. Like, this is like a proper parkour adventure to get onto the middle high ground there. Anyway, this is a more practical example of double jumping on this map. Pretty basic stuff. There's a couple of stupid ledges on this map. This one requires a double jump to reach, but Here's like a set of jumps you can do as spy, which pretty abusable if you ask me. This is pretty funny though. I really like these spots, like the vents or the shutters that aren't clipped off. It makes for a funny type of gameplay where you just kind of sit up there and people won't really look up there as they walk through the choke point because they're walking through a choke point. They're not going to be looking straight up. So you have a couple of different ways to do it. And I was afraid that some of these were asymmetrical because the detailing is asymmetrical, but these are actually all symmetrical, funnily enough. And that's only through coincidence. The mappers definitely just put asymmetrical detailing down. And then they got lucky with all the practical aspects being the same. Anyway, here's the coolest jump on this map, which allows you to like jump on these tires. I'm just showing off like a cool flexi strafe jump and a flexi strafe jump the other way as well. But the coolest part is that these tires are solid, so you can use them to take a little shortcut. So keep that in mind because it's a cool little touch. Anyway, that's going to be the video. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll catch you all some other time.